This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another episode of Only the Bulls. I am joined with my backcourt partner, Dave Ulster.
Nope.
Dave, how you doing? My two guard to the side.
We decided last episode we are front office.
But you know what? I don't want to be in the front office. I don't want to retire yet. I don't want to retire and be in the front office. I want to play, Dave. I still got years in me. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Dave Ulster, how you doing?
Eligibility?
I mean, in the NBA, there is no eligibility as long as I can be on a team like Mike Jones or PJ Tucker.
The draft class. I think you've automatically become an undrafted free agent.
Mike Jones, Mike James, the guy in Phoenix who rode LeBron's coattails. Is that James?
James Jones.
James Jones. That was it. I don't know why I was saying Mike James or Mike Jones. Mike Jones is like a rapper, I think. But Dave, how you doing today?
Doing good. Honestly, feeling really good. I can't wait to see what people think about my mock. Honestly, that's the big. I've been doing a little bit of twiddling thumbs. I've been, you know how you set a mock and then you look at it and you're like, oh, I could just tweak that one little thing and then whatever. And, we had a couple more games that happen now, and now we got the tournament, and I'm very excited for draft season. Very, very excited for draft season.
Well, Dave, the good news is, let me pull it up real quick here before we get to housekeeping and into the podcast. The good news is your next mock will be coming out, let's see, end of the regular season. So in a month, you get to do another one. In about a month from now, you get to do another one after the regular season. We got we got end of the regular season. Then we got the lotto. So you get to do one in May as well. That's about a month after regular season. Then 2 weeks before the draft, and then draft week, you get to do one, or right before the draft, you get to do one. And that last one, that's usually the full 2-round mock. That's a big boy. That's a granddaddy of them all.
I would have 75 right now, and I'd be pretty good. Like I would have to carve names off there. That's how I'm feeling about this draft class.
Dave wouldn't be making up names like the past.
Well, longtime fans are gonna love that.
Throwing in some names that don't exist.
I had foreign politicians going in the second round just to see who was paying attention.
Oh, that was funny. But welcome into Only the Bulls, where we talk about nothing but the Bulls. Got a great. I'm gonna say this for the first time in a long time. Got a great show today because Ricky is gonna try to be positive about that is my challenge for myself. I need to be positive about this team because, Dave, I was telling you beforehand, and I'm going to tell the listeners because, of course, transparency is the best option. The Bulls do not bring me happiness right now. They don't bring me joy. Watching a game, yes, there's games where it's like we play well and I feel happy because we're winning, but it's more of like that. The way I'll kind of relate it is, you're in a relationship or you're in a marriage and you're like, you know what, things are kind of rocky right now and you don't really see hope in the future, but then they do something nice and you're like, oh, that was nice. But then your brain tells you, yeah, but this isn't the norm. This isn't and then the cloud comes over. That's what it is. Bless you about the Bulls. The Bulls bring me despair. They do not bring me happiness. And I'm trying to be looking on the bright side of life, a little Monty Python. So hopefully today's topic can do that. Before we get into everything, though, quick housekeeping. The first one, this guy's mock draft will come out. It's already out as you're seeing this. So the patrons, it'll be out later tonight. Everyone else, it's already out. You're seeing this on Tuesday. Dave's mock's already out. It'll be in the description. Go ahead, check it out. You can check out our Discord is in the description as well. If you want to talk to anyone about the mock, you want to talk to Dave himself about the mock, Patreon's down there. Patrons can watch these live as they happen among other good perks as well. Hit that sub button, that like button, and comment down below, Bulls fans. Tell me why I should hear and be happy about the Bulls. But Dave, go ahead.
I could say who I picked for the mock because this is going up after, right?
You'd spoil it for any patrons viewing. It's up to you.
Kyle Filipowski. Let me know what you think about it.
It was so bad. It was so bad. I hated the pick. Sorry, Dave.
Okay. We're going to dive into that later. We'll save that for the end of the show.
Don't get it on the board.
We do not need Dalton Connect on this team, but we will save it for later in the show. We will talk about this season Bowls first.
We've already talked about the draft last time, so go ahead and check that one out as well. Klingon, but let's get into today's episode, Dave. We're talking about Ayo Dosunmu, and the reason why we're talking Ayo has had a career night, pretty much. I'm gonna say since the calendar turned over to March and everyone started wearing green, Ayo's only had 3 games where he scored under 10 points. And even in February, he only had 2 games. And I know I'm only looking at his scoring here. Only had 2 games where he scored under 10 points. He's been playing very well this season. Quotes that I have: Billy Donovan believes that there's no limit to his ceiling, which is weird for a player that came out as a older college player, a third-year college player. The real quote that I have here, though, is not that Billy Donovan's quote isn't real, but like this is the one with substance. Nikola Vucevic said he's been really good for us all season. I think where he has taken a huge step is just being a little more patient with his decision-making in pick and roll. When he's attacking, we all know he has the quickness and the speed to beat other people off the dribble, but at times when the defense is set, especially when you're the main ball handler like he was Saturday for us with Kobe out, at times you have to take your time and make the reads. I've been very impressed with his growth. Dave, the question I'm going to ask you is Ayo Dosunmu proving me right and proving the Bulls fans I can be the number 1 for this team. I am the future. Acknowledge me.
Okay, maybe like half step. Maybe walk that back a little bit, because I was with you up until the guy on this team, the future. Like is he the future leader? Is he the one that develops this team? And hey, this is now my team. Come with me. Let's go to the promised land. I don't think he's bunny hopped in front of Kobe White in that respect. I think Kobe's still the guy on this team. But I do think that the pairing is actually something really excited to be about. Like something to be excited for in the future, because right now we're watching him be like, obviously with Kobe out, like I said, more of an on-ball guard, which is great because we did get to see that out of him in college. And we know he can run a 2-man game because him and one of the biggest centers in college basketball before Zach Edey, why am I blanking on his name now?
Kofi Cockburn.
Kofi Cockburn. Kofi Cockburn, who's built like an absolute tank. He could already run this 2-man game. He did it very well, polished in college. Freshman year came out into rookie year in the NBA, came out, became the starting point guard for the Bulls due to injuries everywhere, and like obviously had some ups and downs. He had some games where he just could not score. The fact that this year we've seen him grow so much as a scorer, as a willing shooter, willing attacker with the basketball, it's insane progress. And I know we talked about draft potential over in the draft room about upperclassmen, and you know, do you take the rookie or do you take the guy who's only got 1 year in college, who you're like limitless potential in the future, or do you take the guy who's got year-over-year improvement? You're like, is there a reason he's going to stop improving? Do you feel like that you're going to cap him off for any reason? And like Kobe is just that, not Kobe, Ayo. I apologize. Ayo is that guy who every year just finds a way to get better at his game, and I'm kind of loving it this year. Now, I don't think that this is he's the guy, but I also don't think this is one of those ones where you just write off March as like, oh, look, we just beating a bunch of teams who don't care anymore.
Nikola Mirotic, the Nikola Mirotic syndrome.
Okay, Nikola Mirotic is a genuine basketball player.
April showers bring Mirotic threes.
Yeah, Nikola Mirotic was shooting like 60% from 3, 55% from 3, year over year, every single March in April. That was just, you could set your clock to it. Jalen Green, 3 years in a row, 3 years has been fantastic in March and onward. So like some guys just turn on at the end of the season. Ayo has really taken the opportunities that are given to him with Zach out, with Javon Carter having cold streaks for seemingly 3/4 of the season. Caruso having injuries left and right. Like we've asked a lot of him, and he is stepped up in spades, and it's just been awesome. So I don't think he's a 1, but I do think that there's like this thing we're building with Ayo being a two-way guard for us, Kobe being a two-way guard. Like I'm starting to feel a little bit like, okay, now we got 2 good pieces. Who knows what Patrick Williams will or won't be? Figure that out later. But we got 2 great pieces to build around who are both young. They're both aggressive two-way players.
The thing I think of this is, first off, this is fine. Like this year is finally the Ayo I thought we'd get out the gates. This is the Ayo I saw at Illinois.
Yeah.
Confidence is there. It's pretty much turned into, like I said, there's so many games, and I don't need to focus on his offensive ability because he also has good defensive things too. And scoring isn't everything. He's got good vision as well with passing, but he was a walking bucket in Illinois. And I thought, I maybe not right away in the NBA, but I thought he would get into that. And there were so many times, even early in the year, where it's like, oh, he has 8 points, 2 points, 1 point. And like, yes, the 3-point shooting is still a little inconsistent, but he's taking the shots. Like, yeah, he had 4 of 7 against Washington, but then Clippers 1 of 5, Pacers 1 of 4. So it's like, yes, there's areas for improvement. And when I ask the number one question, I'm not saying right now, part of it is because I have so much faith in Ayo, and I think that, yet again, I will stand by it. His absolute ceiling to me, it was when he came out, it still is now, is if he continues to trend on, I could see him being a similar player to Jimmy Buckets, who the Bulls had. A player who can do similar things if he keeps progressing, obviously.
Yeah, and just to give you some context, you had mentioned, recently he's been, only a couple of low-scoring games, but genuinely, if you look at him from when they gave him the all-clear at start, January 28th, that's 22 games. One of those in the middle was a mix-in as a bench game, but like 22 games, he's averaging just shy of 16 points a game, 5 assists, 3.5 boards on 49, 42, 76 shooting. Like, that's a guy. That's absolutely a guy. That's a number 2 on a team. This is number 3 on some teams. But like, point being, you're right. This is exactly who you wanted him to be in the NBA. This is who you were calling him out, and why you were celebrating so heavily when we're like, we got the steal of the draft in the second round.
The thing that I was going to say is, I think what this should prove to AK is that now AK wants to, and I see him, he wants to see his plan through.
Sure.
Zach will probably be back next year. They're going to try to bring DeMar back because Lonzo's running, Dave. That's the latest news. He's running.
Playing basketball in the summer.
I think that AK should have in his mind, and this is, if I was AK, this is how I'd think of it. Okay, I'm going to be putting a lot of pressure on my plan, on my guys. His guys being Zach, DeMar, Lonzo, Vucevic. If we start out rough, and by not like just early in the year, but like by the trade deadline, if we're a play-in team, or if we are like, let's say everyone's healthy, but we're only the 6th seed or the 5th seed, and we're not one of those dominant teams, because Dave, I say this, when everyone was healthy, Bulls looked pretty good. We weren't going to win the finals, not going to go that far, but I felt like we could be a team that at least challenges the upper echelon.
I have to hear about those 40-something games.
I'm just saying, small sample size, but healthy,
bad teams,
I felt like we had some confidence going into those. But if we're a team, I'll say if we're the 6th seed heading into the trade deadline and most people are healthy, if I'm AK, I'm going, you know what? My plan ain't going to work out. We ain't winning. This team is not going to progress like I want to. Let me trade Zach now. Let me get DeMar out of here. Let me get pieces, because I have a core. I have young guys, Ayo being one of them, that I can draft and build around. This team needs like we got lucky to get Ayo where we did. He should have been 20 to 30. That's where he should have been in that draft. If we could get some top 10 talent around him, this team could be something.
Yeah. The problem is that, the guys coming back both play the guard position. So what does that mean for Ayo Dosunmu next year when you're talking about Zach LaVine?
You're talking about those guys.
Lonzo Ball coming back next year. DeMar DeRozan technically is a guard, but like we play him with the wing because, whatever, we make it work.
For us, he's the 3, the small forward.
Billy Donovan, sure. He's whatever he's not having to defend. That's the answer. You hide him as best as you can. But I mean, like, what do you think that's going to mean for Ayo next season? Because like with him being more of a ball handler, we're seeing him go downhill. We're seeing him draw contact and getting to the line more, which is a great sign. I think it's something that he absolutely should lean into more. Like I wanted to finish out the year averaging more than 2 free throws a game because it's a crime at that point. The fact that they're calling out he's gifted in the pick and roll, we should lean into it. At least use pick and roll, pick and pop as an answer. Like Vucevic has been trending upward. I don't want to say it too loudly because he'll hear me and he'll have to shoot 12% from 3. But like he's not been terrible as of late. All of our guys have been playing up to finish the year. It feels like, we've had a couple bad games, but like for the most part, we're doing as well as possibly could be expected. So if he can finish out with showing those free throw attempts, drawing contact, finishing at the rim, like securing his spot as the backup guard so we can not have to worry about having Javon Carter around next year as someone who we have to count on because clearly that just failed miserably this year. I think that would be a huge sign. And then also a level of confidence of like, hey, even if Lonzo is 100% healthy in some miracle world where his knee regenerated and he is 100% healthy and we're all living it and loving it, like maybe he doesn't have to play, 30 minutes a night. We sure know Caruso doesn't play 30 minutes a night because that will break him every single time.
Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast.
So you can still squeeze minutes from those guys and give Ayo his fair share of running an offense. And I think that's kind of what I want to see, but I'm a little concerned for like what happens when the guys are back.
Do you want to know what I would do if I was AK?
I'll trade them.
This offseason.
Keep Lonzo, but trade Zach, obviously.
Zach would be gone. The only problem is how many teams this offseason would want a guy who's got two plus a player op? Like that's something of like, I gotta be really sure about this guy because I'm gonna have him for potentially 3 more years on my roster making the money that he does.
He literally opted into a procedure to not play for Detroit.
Yeah.
That is bold. That is a situation where they're like, well, and like, all right, we got the framework of a deal for you to go to Detroit. He's like, real quick, just put that on pause. I will be announcing my surgery effective immediately.
Yeah, well, and
shut it down.
And that's the thing that like I want to like Zach. I do. Yeah, I want to like him when he was like the first thing that bugged me about Zach was the whole Kings thing. Of like, you don't want to be here. Like, you don't want to be here. I know I get the business part of like, I'm going to force you to pay me because they're going to give me the money. So you got to match it. And I get that was Garpax.
It still worked out great for us.
But like, that was the first thing where I'm like, that doesn't really sit well with me. But then it's like, just his overall attitude. It's like, sometimes I like you.
Every other veteran who's left the Bulls.
The Jim Boylan era where he was, being a little word that I can't say because I'm not gonna say it because I'm gonna try to be better. No, not respectful. I could give 2 craps about being respectful to Zach LaVine, but it's just like I sit here and it's like the Jim Boylan stuff, the Olympic stuff, like, oh, don't tell my coach that I can play defense. That's laziness. I don't want that in my number one. Get out of here. And then like right now where it's like, hey, we're going to trade you. I get it. Nobody wants to play for Detroit. Sorry, Soapy. But it was kind of like it's a little B move if you're going to ask me. Like, and that's what Levine, L words, getting them mixed up. Like, that's just kind of what he is, to be honest. Yeah. I don't want him on my team anymore. I don't want him on my team. I like what Ayo's doing. Hell, I would even take Kobe getting minutes like Zach over Zach.
I was confused, but I remembered how much you hate Kobe White.
Yeah. Well, he's no longer a trash can. Right now, he's like, for a while, he wasn't anything. Now he's back to being the trash bag. So he's at least made like a trash bag is a little bit better than a trash can.
Like the front runner for MIP. Like,
oh no, that's Tyrese Maxey. We don't have him on our team. Maxey's gonna win the award.
He probably will, but we all know that
he is the front runner for MIP.
But we all know he deserves it. We all know who actually deserves it.
It's just like this Bulls team. I think Ayo to me is showing them,
balance it, man.
Hey, the future. Future, even if he pulls in Kobe and goes, hey, the future, like that's what he's doing. And like our front office is just like, nah, I like this over here. Like
the fact that we can run with we have like, in theory, Lonzo and Levine is a great backcourt. Kobe and Ayo, a second great backcourt.
Yeah.
Then you have Caruso, who is great. Playing 1 through 4.
Caruso
and then
gets traded.
DeMar DeRozan, who is technically a 2 guard. Yeah. So we are 6 deep at the guard position, and all of them are starting caliber, if not like above average.
Yeah,
well above average in most cases. Starting caliber guards in the NBA. Now, am I saying that we built a roster incredibly poorly? Yes, I am. We have no wings, and we have no size, and it's so frustrating. But we have an abundance of talent at 2 positions. And I'm with you. We need to leverage. We need to ship guys out. You said trade Caruso. I would rather give up my left leg.
No. I'm saying I think he'll be traded. The way I think the Caruso trade will go is we will not be much better next year.
Oh, we will.
Unless it's like pie in the sky, everything works, and we're back to those 40 games that I mentioned from last year. But like, I have a feeling stuff is going to hit the fan. And this team's not going to be good. We're going to get to the trade deadline. We don't want Caruso to walk. Let's get something out of him. That's how I think he gets traded next year at the deadline.
DeMar DeRozan's still under contract with the Bulls. He has no future contract, correct? Andre Drummond, we haven't extended him either. He's also
he's going to be gone. Yeah.
We're not going to pay that. So I'm just saying, like, we do this to ourselves. Like, we do shoot ourselves in the foot when it comes to contracts. So
we don't. AKME does.
Fair point. I just think that as much as I love what I'm seeing right now, I am equally concerned for opportunities in the future for Ayo Dosunmu. We got him on a great deal, obviously. Like, I think that this was one where, like, everyone was unhappy about it, which means I think everyone should be happy about it at the end of the day. Because it's like, I was arguing, hey, why are we paying this much money for Ayo Dosunmu? And he was like, hey, I'm worth way more than what you guys are paying me. Like, both sides were unhappy, kind of. And I think that usually when that happens, everybody wins. So we got him locked up on a great deal, the same way that we have Kobe White locked up on a great deal. And I'm just like, at some point, both those guys have to be like, give them the keys, move everybody else out the way. If our second unit is Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, that's fine. I'm with you. We just got to ship Zach. And I don't know if you have more on Ayo. I think that's pretty much my feelings on it. I just love the growth. I think that his growth is great. I think for a team that really hasn't developed talent in a long time, seeing him grow, seeing Kobe White grow, seeing Patrick Williams grow, like all 3 of those guys doing great. Julian Phillips, fantastic rookie year in the NBA from my perspective, because watching him as a athletic defensive monster in college with highlight plays, but not really like an all-around game. And now I'm watching him, basically he just grew his confidence in the G League, stretched out his game, started taking more shots from outside, adding really just a lot to his game. And I love it. So it's like, are the Bulls getting better at developing players? Like, I know we hired for the first time in a long time, like some player personnel people, some player development, a shooting coach. Novel thought here. Maybe guys can get better if we make them practice the right way.
If we make them practice.
But one of those pieces that you always hear every offseason, and I hate that it's like almost a fluff piece, but DeMar DeRozan has been that guy who does the offseason workouts, who tries to bring the young guys in with him, who you see, talk a lot. So I think that in these games, he's been the calming presence for this team. He's been the closer, but also he is like the guy that they all look towards throughout games when it goes wrong. They need somebody. He is the guy who steps up and has a voice in that locker room. So I think that I've got mixed feelings on DeMar DeRozan in the future of the Bulls, because as much as I appreciate and love what he's done for us, I'm also not sure that keeping him around another year is going to give us more than it's holding back.
So put a pin in that DeMar thing for 1 second. I want to get to that. I did have one more thing on Ayo. I was just pulling it up. Dave, you have Ayo's box score in front of you, correct?
Yeah.
Last year, or actually rookie year, how many games did he play? How many games did he start?
Okay. So his rookie year, he was in 77 games. He started 40 of them.
Okay.
About 30 minutes, 27 minutes a night.
Next season.
Next season, 80 games, 51 starts.
51. And I believe I'm trying to map in my head. This is his third year, or is this his second year?
Year 3.
What is year 3? How many games did he play? And how many starts?
66 games, 27 starts.
Okay. It's like
least starts of his career so far, but the most effective he's been.
And so yet again, I'm looking at the Bulls' past to see if our future could tell us something, because well, there was a guy who
just trying to do this.
His rookie year, he didn't start a single game, played 42, averaged about 2 points per game.
Yeah, he was a defensive stopper.
Then his second year bumped up, played all 82 games, only started 20 of them. Kind of almost same as like this year for Ayo. He's only started 20 some games. Also, that second year was when our starting player was injured and didn't play any games.
Right.
Kind of like Zach played more games than that player did. But Zach has been out most of the year. And then his third season, he went ahead and Basketball Reference. You can't do this to me. You can't just refresh my thing when I've got y'all. He played in 67, started in all 67.
Yeah.
The player that Dave pinpointed it perfectly. I believe you said Jimmy Butler.
I did.
And that is Jimmy Butler's kind of progression. Now, yet again, I will say first thing, because comments are probably going to say it, different situation, different Bulls team. You look at that Bulls team where Jimmy Butler came in, our front court was all settled. You had Joakim and Boozer down low, Luau on the wing, and our starters were Derrick Rose, and then the 2-guard was Rip, but then Ronnie Bruja also played a lot of games because Rip had some injury problems in that season. Then the next year, it was basically front court's the same. Rip and Bruja are there. Derrick Rose just isn't there. So it was a hodgepodge, kind of like we're doing right now. Let's get a bunch of people in there, see what we can do for this backcourt. And then Jimmy solidified himself in the starting lineup that third year. I think with Ayo, this should be the time where he is solidified to where it's like, hey, we should give him more starts next year. And you talk about these wings like, oh, where's our size? One of them is playing right now, has been on the bench for most of the year, Julian Phillips. Like we've drafted some size. It's just they don't play much when the roster is fully healthy, and that's the problem. We're prioritizing guards over everything else.
To be fair,
go ahead.
Julian Phillips had been a project player.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's finished.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I'd rather get him minutes to develop. Is what I'm saying. Like, if we needed size, there he is. When it comes to DeMar, I'll be completely honest. Like, and this is gonna sound like a broken record. I wouldn't mind if he was back, only because then we can put a kibosh on whether AK's plan works or not. But I'm just hoping at the least we get a sign and trade. I'm hoping he just doesn't walk for nothing. I hope we, for some reason, like, I'm not the biggest like business guy for the NBA. I'm not the what's his name? The guy that ESPN usually has at the board talking budgets.
Front office.
Yeah. Is it Mark something?
It does. It is Mark something.
Whatever his name is. Someone help us out. I'm not him. I don't understand the books and the business like he does, obviously. I don't even know if there's a reason for a sign and trade when it comes to DeMar. But I hope if he leaves, we get it, obviously, because I want something for him. I'll take anything for him. Don't let him walk for nothing.
With that said, how do you justify Ayo starting over potentially DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Kobe White, Alex Caruso?
It's a harder question with DeMar there. Ball. It's a harder question with DeMar there.
Because out of that 6 that I listed.
Yeah. There's no...
Is he the 6th best player?
There's no spot for him if we bring everybody back. That's the problem. If
it's a weird realization.
Now if DeMar leaves,
sure,
we could do now, because there's a couple things we could do. Either 3-guard lineups.
Billy loves the 3-guard lineups.
Or we could say, I know Ayo's only 6'5". Wings, you probably want 6'6" at the least. That's kind of like the smaller end wing.
League is getting bigger.
Could we develop and say, hey, be our wing. Develop Ayo into a wing, into a smaller wing, but a wing.
Get him some lifts.
Get him some lifts. Get him some lifts so he's a little taller. I don't know. I feel like there's a direction this team should take.
Yeah.
And Ayo's kind of proving that. And there's DeMar could screw, not DeMar himself, but DeMar's decision could screw that up. Because I feel like the Bulls are going to be so married to this plan that, hey, there's a different road over here that could be better. The Bulls aren't even going to look at it because nope, we're hyper focused on this. This has to work.
Or else.
That's what they think. Like, that's not how it should be. It'll
agree.
be or else because you'll be fired.
No, he got an extension. I mean, Mark Eversley
should be
not. I'm not
fired,
sure, but Arturas was extended, I believe.
Yeah, he should be. Like, if you're gonna like any business, any job, Dave, you can't be hyper focused. This is the only way. There's a certain thing about being reactive, and AK doesn't know how to do that. He is proactive.
We are steady on the course. We are all about that C word. I don't.
Not the one that people think.
Continuity. Just so people don't.
Yeah, you can't be saying C word, Dave. You can't be saying that C word because people go, "What did he just call? What did he just call AK?"
He's all about.
Yeah. Continuity is the word that Dave is speaking
continuity. Continuity. He's all about continuity. So, with that said, do you feel like Ayo being our 6th best guard potentially, if everyone is magically healthy, who knows if they will be, and we re-sign DeMar DeRozan, like, are you gonna feel upset when he maybe doesn't take a step back, but maybe doesn't get an opportunity to shine next year, but maybe we're a 4 seed in the East or a 3 seed in a magical world? We don't know. The NBA landscape changes so much every single season, but if everything else changes and we're magically a 4 seed in the East, and we've re-signed DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo knee is bulletproof. How you feeling about, how you feeling?
Obviously success over anything. Okay. Like, we want the Bulls as fans to be contenders. We want them to be a good team. So it's like, I want to make this clear so it doesn't sound like I'm against the plan just because it's the plan. If the plan works, I'm for it. If it doesn't work, I'm on the point of we need to be reactive and kind of change courses. It's
fair.
It comes with, like, even in sports in general, how many coaches you come in, a game plan. Okay, this is what we're going to do. This is the guys. These are the ones we're going to focus on. And then either something happens or the game progresses. Like, oh, they jumped out to a 10-0 lead, 15-0 lead. Okay, what do we have to do? There obviously has to be changes made. You don't want to make too many changes because then you're just
really doesn't do in-game changes either.
Well, but that's the thing. It's like,
because again, continuity
in a game, out of a game, like it's okay to make changes. It's also okay to realize, hey, I have this plan, but this might be better, and change course. That is also it. The only thing, like the thing that I think of is, yes, it's good that I feel like it depends on the person. Some people deal better with pressure. Yeah. Oh, I feel like I'm going to lose my job. I work better with that pressure. Other people work better with, hey, I don't need that pressure. I want to feel like I have the confidence of everything. So you could say, hey, it's good. Reinsdorf and stuff have the confidence in him and he doesn't have the pressure. But there's a part of me that is like, no, in this situation, that's a bad thing. Right. They need a little bit of a fire under them to like, no, if this doesn't work, you could be gone. Like there are implications here that are bigger than this. And like, I think that Ayo, if everyone comes back and he's the 6th on the rotation, I would hate to see it. I think he's going to go back to being the Ayo that we saw at the beginning of the year. Oh, there's flashes, but he's not getting the ball enough to show what he can do. And then really it's like, how much are you? It's just, oh, it's all about being a team player at that point.
Yeah. I'm afraid of a situation where we stick to the plan and people start to get a little disgruntled because Ayo and Kobe had these opportunities. We don't know how many more they're going to get. You know, if it gets to become a crowded backcourt like that again, if Billy starts, leaning into heavy Zach minutes or something, I don't know.
Winning cures all problems, Dave. That's the thing. If we're to the plan and it's not succeeding, that's when people get mad. If we're winning and we're going to the plan, nobody will care as long as we're winning.
I am still holding out hope some way. Zach LaVine will be on another team by the time next season starts. Because that truly feels like that just solves all my problems.
Ideally, what team do you think trades for Zach this offseason or would want to?
Charlotte just seems like the one because why not? Mm-hmm. They are changing ownership though, so like I don't know what's going on there. Mm-hmm. Detroit would be cool. Maybe we rekindle those talks again. But it's just so much money. And it feels like we're gonna eat a loss on it regardless. So I would just rather see young guys play and have. I mean, that's the thing that no one talks about that maybe we could talk about is the opportunity cost of continuing to play Zach LaVine and our young talent not developing on the same curve because they're not getting minutes, they're not getting opportunities, and they're not getting a chance to grow their game in live games. And instead, we just keep watching Zach LaVine fill up empty, meaningless stat sheets, and we still aren't a winning franchise for it. So even if we do take a loss on a trade, I'd be okay because we get to watch other people actually play and grow.
I really hope the Sixers don't call just because I know Toby's going to be included in that, and I don't want him anywhere. I don't want Toby anywhere near. Well, actually, yes, because then if we're tanking for a number 1 pick, yes, give me Tobias Harris.
We're too good to tank for a number 1 pick.
Zach ain't the last trade we do, Dave. He ain't the last one.
I'm listening.
You know, it's a team, and I don't. This is just off the cusp.
Yeah,
Memphis. Could they use Zach LaVine? They've also got a ton of talent. They have a ton of depth that it's like they could offer people up for Zach.
Matching contracts is their only problem.
Yeah,
they just don't have. And again, this goes into that the contract talk about moving guys in the offseason and how you can combine contracts to make them work for bigger deals. I think that changes in this offseason, and I think that there's some gets a little sticky. So we're gonna have to maybe do our due diligence on that one because I'm not quite sure how trades in the offseason are going to work out like that. Because I know there's right now we're already seeing the levels of which cap team you are if you're a first level or second level. But then I know there's like combining contracts is something that they highlighted last time. So maybe there's something there. I'm not sure.
Bulls right now, as we are recording this, they just hit halftime, Dave.
Yeah.
And the Bulls are winning. We're playing Portland. We're up 54-49.
Feels good.
DeMar's got 16 in the first half, 16, 3, and 5.
Very cool.
On 66% from the field.
That's what he does.
Ayo's got 10, 0, and 4 on 50% from the field.
Yeah, I'll take it. We should be able to beat it, even though Portland's been playing up to end the year. Credit to them. Young team, but should not lose to Portland.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Could we see the Bulls would be a third team, like a 3-team trade? One team gets Zach, one team gets Trey. The Bulls are kind of like a third team to like soak up some younger talent.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Because I don't want Trey Young. Like that doesn't solve any of the problems. Our backcourt's still clouded. It's still clogged up at that point.
It does something for us, but yeah. If the Lakers are really as interested as we think they are,
in Zach
or Trey,
okay.
I think they wanted them both. Okay. I mean, they would probably prefer Trey, but D'Angelo Russell kind of played his way into like staying. And we'll see if they get that other pick opened up to them. I believe it's an opt-in, opt-out situation for their pick this year, so maybe happens. We'll see. But yeah, I could see it being involved in like a big swing like that. I mean, who knows? The Wizards are a dumpster fire. We could always offer up Zach there. Like, hey, you guys miss Bradley Beal. We've got like Bradley Beal light.
Is that what Zach is? Bradley Beal light?
He's basically the same guy as Bradley Beal, but more athletic still, even after 7 surgeries. I
mean, I'll be completely honest. Like, you say the Lakers. You know who's one guy on that team I wouldn't mind having?
Anthony Davis.
What?
Anthony Davis?
No. Rui.
You would love having.
Yeah, like you're talking about if we need size, we need wings. Like, Rui Hachimura. I think Austin Reeves is untouchable, but like for Zach LaVine, if they're gonna give some picks and then maybe I get
no, we're not getting picks.
No picks at all.
We're probably like a second.
Yeah, no, we might need that, Dave. We don't have any of those. But like Rui is somebody that I go, okay. Gabe Vincent is like a backup like shooter 3 guy who could like come off the bench and hit 3. Yeah, obviously. If we don't want to go to free agency for like I don't even know if this guy would be a backup center or he's more of a power forward, but like Jared Vanderbilt to fill that Drummond hole.
I mean, yeah, he's equally offensively inept, but actually I think he's somehow worse.
Cam Reddish is on a player or Cam Reddish would have to accept a player op. Hayes and Wood all have player ops.
Please, no. Do not put Christian Wood on the Chicago Bulls. No.
I just said they're all 3.
If we're getting rid of Zach LaVine, don't counter by putting Christian Wood on our team.
The 2 from the Lakers that I would really be like, you would offer me and I'd be like, all right, I'll listen, is Cam and Rui.
Sure.
Like,
Sure. If that's what we can get for Zach, I would take it. I don't even care anymore. I think there's a lot of teams who will be poking around. Let's put it that way.
Which I will say, one of our commenters for the Bulls podcast, I think his name's RW, is really gonna like that I just mentioned Cam Reddish. Yeah, RW Chi-Town, because the last podcast he said, I understand Ricky has to hate Kobe because Reddish sucks. I would love if Cam Reddish became a Bull.
Ew. Just ew.
I mean, hey, if we're trading Zach and trying to get pieces that we could just see what they do, I'll take a swing on Cam Reddish at this point.
No, you know who we should swing on?
Who?
Zach for Ben Simmons and a second. Or 2 seconds, or 3 seconds. I don't even care. But Ben Simmons will be an expiring $37 million. I didn't even swear there.
You didn't.
I saw you writing down. I was just waiting.
I am writing down.
Okay. Just a thought. Just for the fact that
Dave, possible reelable moment from the podcast. People might want to react to that.
Ben Simmons for Zach LaVine. Now you can write down that number too. For the other column.
Dave just gets so
It's one of those things where Ben Simmons, for those who don't know, just went under surgery for I've lost track of the amount of times, but his back seemingly is disintegrating and causing him a lot of pain. And so another surgery, trying to clear that up. But he does have another year at like 37, 38 million probably. Zach LaVine, I believe, I got to check what his upcoming year is. Modified contract. 2020 at 43 million. So like not terrible. Not terrible. But Zach's got that long-term deal. Ben Simmons would be an expiring next year. I would take a couple pieces of draft, like very poor draft compensation to get an expiring $40 million for Ben Simmons. I would probably pull the trigger on that. And if Ben Simmons can play basketball,
but can he play basketball?
Who knows? That's the only Ricky. This is addition by subtraction. We have an expiring $40 million next year then. In worst case scenario, he doesn't even play for us, and we just lose out on $40 million, which we've been not playing with $20 million for the last 3 years, 2.5 years, and not playing with a $40 million from Zach LaVine for the last 2 years also, on and off again. So like,
I don't know if we
already play down so much money. I would be cool just writing off Zach LaVine to not have someone play on our team this next year. And then we have Ben Simmons, who, if he plays, great, wonderful, happy that he's healthy again. When he's healthy, multi-tool player, big, who can defend. He can't shoot or score very well, but that's okay. We got guys who can do that.
I don't know if I'd rather have a trade like that or a trade where it's like, hey, like, I'm not saying the Laker trade for sure, but like a Rui Cam and something where it's like Rui's the big contract there. That's the 17 million. Having that locked down for 3 years and having players that, hey, they could develop with this Ayo Kobe team that we're building.
Maybe nice complementary pieces, sure. But $40 million the following offseason would be pretty.
I don't trust, based on the track record, I don't trust AK to use that $40 million wisely.
I mean,
Javon Carter.
We did get Torrey Craig though, and Andre Drummond. Those are pretty good pickups.
Yeah, but I feel like if we get rid of Zach, and then if DeMar walks, first off, how much of that 40 just goes to DeMar? Like we give DeMar more money.
Well, let's okay.
Or they both walk, and then it's great. Now we got to lock someone down. Yeah. Who is AK going to give them money to be the big, like, oh, we need a leader of this team now? Like,
we're a young team. We're tanking. That was what you said.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, if we have a bunch of money then that AK can use, I feel like he's going to be like, I have to go out and get a veteran
into a 5-year.
He get the $200 million he wanted.
Probably 5-year 90 would be my guess.
Remember when he wanted 200 mil, Dave?
I think he was looking for like 25 mil a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't think it was 200 million.
No, that was not per year for like the entire, like he wanted.
Yeah, I think it was like a 5-year, like 25 million a year, which would have been, a little bit extra because he's probably worth like 15, 18, but not terribly. And instead, now that he's hurt, who knows? We get him for like 15 a year, maybe 12.
I'll ask you this.
Deals all around, man. Deals all around. That's all I'm saying. I'm looking for a way to change the continuity and give us opportunity. That's all I'm seeing out there.
I'm going to get a shirt that just says continuity.
Yep, that's what I need. It's just a Bull shirt and Bull's logo, but it says continuity.
Yeah. What if it's like, oh, no, that's it. It's in the old, like it's a shirt. Yes. Old style of the Bulls, and instead of Chicago in cursive, it says continuity in cursive.
Exactly what I was picturing, Nikki.
Just says continuity in cursive.
We need that printed up, and I will.
If people would buy that shirt, I'd look into making that shirt. If people actually bought them.
I would buy it. I would give it out to people who listen to this podcast.
Oh, continuity. I got one last question for you. And this kind of goes back to Iowa a little bit, but I was kind of thinking on it. Let's say everyone's brought back. He's the 6th one on the chopping order in the
guard room.
The guard room. Let's say we're not good. We're not 4. We're about 6, 7, riding that play-in, play-off line.
Yeah.
Would you? First off, if you're Io, would you do this? Second off, as a fan, how would you feel if he do this?
No.
If he went to the front office and said, you know what? Obviously, you guys got a plan. Things need to be done. I would like a trade.
Nope.
I don't see it happening because he loves Chicago.
He's a local kid.
But
honestly, there's a better chance of us drafting another Illinois kid than there is of him asking out.
If we got TSJ,
you were asking for Dalton Connect. I don't know why we need Dalton Connect.
I'll take TSJ. I'll take him. I like Dalton Connect. The guy I really want is Donovan Clingan. That's who I really want.
He's playing his way securely in that top 10.
Yeah. I mean,
he had himself an impressive performance, unless he snaps an ankle in the next month of games, which...
Dave, you can't do the MVP curse is a thing, Dave. We say things on podcasts, then they happen.
Ricky, I stopped playing fantasy football for a reason.
Oh, I know, Dave. I know.
Like, I ended people's careers.
Soapy has brought this up so much, and it's true. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't matter who it is. Could be me and you, me and Soapy, you and Soapy. Like, in MVP podcast, something is said, and then the opposite happens.
Oh, well, that'll be fine. I just said, yeah.
Like, we speak things into, or, well, there's also the case of, like, oh, well, it's... not like this is going to happen, or like we say like, oh, this might happen, and then it happens 2 days. It literally happens while I'm editing the podcast. So that's like, do we put the podcast up or do we eat it?
Or we just scrap an entire hour of content. Yeah, I feel that.
Oh, Bradley Beal, thank you for that one. Thank you for that one, Bradley Beal.
Yep.
Maybe we re-release it. I think I still have it like saved in the the archives. MVP Classics, is that what we call it?
MVP never released. What do the artists do when they like they keep finding albums for like the Beatles that was like never released? It was just like, how does this even exist?
But Dave, any final thoughts you have about the
love the growth from the team, love the fact that it's a good problem to have when we're like, how are we gonna find minutes for all these young kids? I hope we address the wing in the offseason, add some size there. But I think that finishing out this year strong is great. I think that as a 9 seed, who is probably going to have to face off against the Hawks, I think we got a shot to get beat down by Joel Embiid and the Sixers.
It might be like last year, we win a game, lose a game.
Yeah, I would be happy with that.
Seems kind of stagnant.
Well, Ricky, what's a synonym for stagnant?
Continuity.
There you go.
Oh, yep. Oh, this is where you guys. This is where you guys come in. I said, "Hey, I want to try to be happy." At least I didn't rant in this one. Is that a positive, Dave? That I didn't go all ranty?
It is positive.
I haven't said sell the team. Well, there it is. Sell the team. I haven't said that until just now. So we got to be better, right? But Bulls fans, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below. Check out Dave's mock draft if you haven't already. Link in the description. Discord's down there. Patreon link is down there if you want to support us. Let us know what you think down below. Hit that like button, that sub button. Dave and I will be back in Dos Mañanas? No, is that weeks?
2 tomorrows.
That's 2 tomorrows. What's week in Spanish? Dos
of Spanish are failing me.
Dos weekos? Does that sound like a thing? No, Spanglish coming in hot. We'll be back in 2 weeks. You guys know how the deal works. But for Dave Oster, I'm Ricky Widmer. As always, have a good day, everybody. As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.